Hey there, Ryan Webb here, and welcome to this video. I am so excited you're here because we're going to dive into the concept of the generator type in human design and money, and how generators can live more in alignment with their design to allow more financial abundance and financial security into their life. So before we dive in, just want to remind everyone we do a human design reading giveaway now every 200 subscribers. Thank you so much to all those that have helped the channel growth so far. Our next giveaway is at the 600 subscriber mark, and then it'll be 800 after that. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway is to subscribe to our channel, leave a comment on this video, and you're entered. The more videos you comment on, the more chances you'll have to win as we pick a random subscriber when we hit 600 subscribers. So this is a 2-hour reading with me, one-on-one, normally a $397 investment, but there's to a lucky winner. And I've had so much fun getting to know some of you in the YouTube community here on this channel, and I hope I get to meet you and dive into your chart. I'll mention this again at the end. For now, let's dive in. So there's lots of different ways a generator can make money, because remember, a type is just a small piece of human design. And so we got to take into account your gates and channels and all of these things. So this video is going to be mainly focused on what is true for all generators, which is your strategy to respond. And then we'll talk about the two different authorities a generator can have, the emotional authority and the sacral authority. And I'll explore a little bit about the difference of what it would be like to align to your design to make money with each of those authorities. And then I'm also going to play with how your sacral is defined. So the sacral can be defined through the emotional center, through the root center, through the splenic center, or through the G center, or through the throat, and maybe multiple. What I mean by the sacral can be defined is that what actually makes your sacral center colored in, what makes it red instead of white, is when you have a channel connecting it to another center, because that defines the energy flow between your sacral center and another center. So depending on how your sacral is defined, meaning what other center is it connected to through a channel, the way you make money could be a little bit different. So we're going to explore that a little bit as well. So let's dive in first with responding. So the most important thing as a generator, if you want to increase your financial abundance by following the truth of your body and your deep inner wisdom, the first step is to get familiar and practice following your sacral response. Around here somewhere will pop up a link to a video on our channel to watch the sacral response video that I go deep into how to listen to that and how to really build your capacity to feel it in your body, because that is number one. If you're not following your sacral, you may make money, but it's usually going to come with exhaustion, burnout, and frustration, the not self theme of the generator, because you're going to be following your logic, which does work in society. You can make money doing it, but it's the hard way, right? When you follow your sacral is going to guide you, because it's your inner compass as a generator. It's going to guide you to the opportunities, to the conversations, to the people that it knows will be the path of least resistance, the most easeful path to create all that you want in life. So your sacral will guide you outside your comfort zone. Your sacral will guide you to almost always an illogical path. Over time, the sacral and the mind will start to sync up more. But in the beginning, when you've been spending your whole life following your mind, creating a comfort zone, operating from logic, often in the beginning, when you're first listening to your sacral, it's going to be really uncomfortable. And getting comfortable with that discomfort is so important. And I talk about that in a lot of videos on this channel. So that's number one. If you don't follow your sacral, yes, or if you ignore your sacral, no, you're going to end up in frustration and burnout and exhaustion at some point. So follow that sacral, yes. The second piece is your authority. So if you have a sacral authority, then it's listening to that clear yes, the rising energy up of the yes, or the contracting energy in of the no, and following that. And noticing your mind is going to want to ignore it, going to want to think it through, going to want to write out pros and cons lists, figure it out, make sure it makes sense. None of that. Your sacral is beyond logic, beyond thought, beyond reason. It's tuned into a bigger energy field than your mind is and ever will be. It's tuned into the consciousness field, the information that is stored in the subatomic neutrino stream that is moving through you at every moment, that's carrying the information of past, present, and future in this nonlinear time that we actually live in. So trust that inner compass. Notice your mind, honor it, but practice and notice the emotions that come up when you want to ignore the warnings of the mind, the worries of the mind, and follow your sacral. And be gentle, and don't just notice the automatic impulse to follow the mind. And give yourself spaciousness in that moment. Use your breath to slow down, go for a walk, whatever you've got to do to navigate the emotions, the fear, the anxiety that comes with making a decision that doesn't necessarily make sense. Because often your brain is going to be like, but how am I going to pay my bills? That person can't pay, or this or that, all the logic, all the reason. But when you follow your sacral, things happen in ways that you can't predict. And the only way through is to practice it and try it, because it doesn't matter how many times I say it until you have an embodied experience of it for yourself. So there is that first step you've got to take that is going to feel scary. So building your nervous system capacity to be with fear, to be with the unknown, is super important. And there's other videos that'll pop up around here that you can watch where I talk about that. So if you have an emotional authority, speaking of emotions, then you know you have a consistent emotional wave. Or if you don't know that yet, then watch the video on authorities here. And that emotional wave is going to go start at a high or start at a low, and then reduce in intensity over time until it comes to clarity. So you want to wait until it comes to clarity. That could take minutes, it could take months, depending on the size of the decision. Most are somewhere in the minutes to days. So really letting your emotions run their course, because that emotional wave, that consistent emotional wave you can rely on, is going is gathering all the information. And if you make a decision while you're in the wave, first of all, it's hard to hear your sacral when you're in a wave, but also the emotional wave is gathering data, gathering information. That's the consistent intelligence you have if you have an emotional authority. So once you get that clarity, then you can also feel your sacral and make the decision from that emotionally clear place, not while you're in the highs and lows. If you have an open emotional center, you're also going to have emotional highs and lows. You're open to other people's emotional experiences, and your emotions are more inconsistent. So you won't have a consistent emotional wave, but you'll still have emotional waves. There's nothing you can count on. There isn't a consistent intelligence you can count on like those with an emotional authority. But you still want to get to an emotionally clear place so you can feel your sacral. It's so easy to confuse emotional experiences in the body, like excitement with a sacral yes, or fear with a sacral no. So you really want to let the emotions die down so you can trust that sacral. I know I spent a lot of time on that. We're almost 8 minutes into the video here. It is so key. I can't stress it enough. If more generators would actually practice listening to their sacral, there's going to be a lot more abundance coming their way. So I invite you into that. Now, let's talk about the different ways the sacral can be defined. So first way I want to talk about is through the emotional center. So if it's defined through the emotional center, meaning channel 59.6, that one channel that connects the sacral to the emotional center, then you have an emotional authority, so you've got to wait out that wave. But it's also really important that you not follow the impulse from the mind or from your emotions to dive into relationships quickly, especially personal, but also professional, right? In the context of money, there's going to be a lot of invitations to use your sacral energy, and especially as you become more and more known in your field, or in your career, in your company. There'll be a lot more requests on your energy, and you want to allow a courtship process. 59.6 is all about allowing a courtship process, letting the emotional waves go through that initial excitement of like, oh, this partnership could be the thing that makes it all work, or to let all of that die out, or the fear of like, oh, I don't know, this is really scary, it sounds good, to get to that clear place, to allow there to be a courtship period that could take days, weeks, months, to not rush in with urgency into relationships and collaborations. So that's really important. The root center, if your sacral is defined by the root, meaning either 52.9, channel 52.9, channel 63, or channel 53.42, then those three are called format channels. And they're tiny channels, but they're really powerful. They add a big punch into the rest of the chart, and they kind of flavor the chart. So 52.9 is about bringing concentration and stillness to everything you do. 63 is about waiting out the limitations of society to bring in bigger mutations and being patient and dealing with the sadness of how slow society moves. And 53.42 is about the importance of being really careful what you start, because once you start it, you got to finish it. And you're going to have the sacral energy to finish it if it's a sacral yes. So really, it's important for all the channels, but really to slow down, because these three channels, the root, that's the center of motivation, drive, the pressure to go out and experience life, connected to your sacral energy. So a lot of energy there, a lot of impulse to like, oh, I got to do this thing. I got to move this energy. Exercise, move some of the energy through exercise. Make sure you're waiting out your emotional wave if you have an emotional authority, and make sure you're choosing not from excitement, not from a mental process, but from that sacral yes. Okay, if your sacral center is defined through the spleen, either through 2750 or 3457, then the importance here is to know that your sacral operates pretty fast. It's a splenic sacral kind of connection, the splenic center being instincts and intuition. So you have, through 3457 especially, there's this, it's all about the now. It's about like the instinctual knowing, the sacral knowing right now, as long as you're not in an emotional wave, yeah? And as long as your emotions are clear. But trusting, it's almost like an early warning system, that 3457, you can know if there's something to worry about, so you don't have to think too hard. 2750 is about caring, and caring for others, and being careful not to over care for others before yourself. That you're really here to care and either stand up for values or fight against values that are or are not supporting the people around you. You don't have to care for each individual person, but to know and trust your instincts in this moment. When the sacral is defined by the spleen, with the spleen, to know that you also have this powerful, consistent, instinctual knowing that may be quicker than other generators that don't have that connection. The G center can be defined by one of the three channels moving up from the sacral to the G, 14.2, 5.15, or 29.46, or through 34.10. And this is all about your sacral energy being connected to your identity and your direction. So while it's important for all generators to allow their sacral to guide them step by step through life, even more important if you have one of these channels defined, to really allow your direction and your identity to unfold one step at a time as your sacral guides you. There's a lot of specific flavors to those four channels that I'm not going to get into in this video, but there'll be some, the individual and collective circuitry videos on this channel will help you with that. But really just know the importance that your direction will unfold through your sacral. And then finally, 3420, connecting up to the throat. This is the typical manifesting generator channel, and it is about the now. Your life emerges in the now. And again, this is true for most generators, with the letting your life emerge through your sacral response, not trying to plan it ahead of time, being really in the mystery of the unknown, one step at a time. But with 3420, it's even more pronounced. It's really important to allow your life to bubble up in the moment, to allow your words to bubble up in the moment, to trust that contraction and to not speak or to not act, and to trust that yes, when it is time to act and speak, which is, always the interesting thing here is to notice the mental patternings. For me, when my sacral's a no for like a week and I'm like not acting and not doing anything, and it's time to like hibernate and go internal, it's like really hard for my mind. My mind wants to do things. So a lot of this practice, human design, is about application. You can learn it and read it and look at your chart every day, but it's about the practice and the application, which means noticing your mental patterns and your nervous system patterns that prevent you from following your design. So as with 3420, you allow your life to bubble up in the moment. With the G center channels, you're allowing your direction to unfold. You are going to meet the people that are going to give you the opportunities and want to use your sacral energy in the correct ways, right? Money will flow from that place. It just takes that period of time of transitioning from using your mind to plan out how you're going to get rich, to like let that go, and to know that there is sometimes a transition period where you're not yet fully trusting the wisdom of your body. So things are a little wonky and unknown. But if you really practice, starting as small as you need to, that I can tell you from experience that sacral has guided me to more abundance and more peace of mind and less of my energy than I ever could have imagined. Especially in the last 4 years. It's been incredible. So this works. The mind is like, but wait, you didn't really tell me any specifics about how to make money. Exactly. Your sacral knows more than I could ever know. Start trusting it, and trusting it in the way it's energetically designed, more and more and more, and be gentle with your nervous system and the parts of you that have learned to be afraid to follow your cycle, that have learned to be scared to go your unique way, and to be gentle with them and to breathe into them to create space for new possibility. So that's all I got for this video. Please leave questions, comments below. I'm here to help and support your journey. I get back to every comment. And just a reminder, we are doing that giveaway. So make sure to like this video, comment, subscribe. Every video you comment on the channel gives you another opportunity to win a free 2-hour human design reading, usually worth $397. We're giving them away every 200 subscribers now. Next one's at 600 and then 800 after that. So please, subscribe, leave a comment, ask a question. I'm here to help. I want to get to know you. Hopefully I'll get to look at your chart, and I hope you're having a beautiful day.